Welcome back to DevOps with Dami. In today's video, we'll explore how to deploy infrastructure as code with Terraform and Azure DevOps pipeline. In this video, you'll learn how to automate your infrastructure deployments using Terraform, an open source infrastructure as code tool, and Azure DevOps, a powerful CI/CD platform. Whether you're new to DevOps or looking to streamline your workflows, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you'll understand what Terraform and Azure DevOps pipelines are, how they work together to automate infrastructure deployments, and how to set up pipelines to deploy resources to Azure. If you're new here, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay up to date on tutorials like this one. Before we jump into the demo, let's have a little chat about Azure DevOps Pipeline and Terraform infrastructure as code. Terraform is an open source tool by HashiCorp that allows you to define and provision infrastructure using code. Instead of manually creating resources in the Azure portal, you write configuration file that describes your infrastructure. Terraform supports multiple cloud providers, including Azure, AWS, and GCP. For the scope of this video, we're only going to be focusing on Azure. Azure DevOps, on the other hand, is a suite of Azure services that helps you automate your software development lifecycle. One of the key components is Azure Pipelines, which allows you to automate building, testing, and deploying applications and infrastructure. So why do we combine these two solutions? I would say consistency. So let's look at it this way. Terraform ensures your infrastructure is deployed the same way every time. Say, for instance, you have your Terraform configuration, and then you need to build different environments, say production, pre-production, stage, dev, tests, or anything like that. And then you need to deploy a like for like environments across, right? So with Terraform, you can maintain similar configuration across every environment. So I would say this is one of the major benefits of this solution. Collaboration also is another major benefit. So by storing your Terraform code in your Git repository, you can collaborate with your team and track changes. Say, for instance, there are multiple people working on this project. You can all push your code into your Azure DevOps repo or any version control system, and then you can all push your codes, work together, and then deploy your codes accordingly. And also another major benefit of this solution is the complete automation, the actual automation. So Azure Pipeline automates the Terraform workflow. Once you're done building your Terraform configurations and everything is all tested, probably locally, right? You can build your Azure DevOps pipeline, to deploy your Terraform configuration. So this actually helps, reducing manual efforts and any kind of human error. So in the next slide, we'll dive into a hands-on demo where we will deploy infrastructure using Terraform and Azure DevOps. So in this demo, here's what we'll cover. Terraform code. So I'll show you a simple Terraform configuration to deploy your resources like the Azure resource group, the storage account, and then any other resources that we might be deploying. We'll initialize the Terraform, we'll validate the Terraform configuration, and apply the configuration locally to see how it works. Once the code is ready, we'll push it to Azure DevOps repo. We'll create an Azure storage account and a container to store the Terraform state file remotely. We'll define a pipeline YAML file to automate the Terraform workflow, including init, plan, and the apply. And then finally, we'll trigger the pipeline and deploy the infrastructure to Azure. Let's jump into the demo and see how it all works together. So here's our Terraform code, which we are going to be working with today, right? So we have our main file. So we define our Azure resources we want to create. Like the as we can see here, we have the storage account, we have the resource group, and then we have the storage account, which we're going to be deploying into the resource group. The variables.tf file contains the input variables. The output.tf file defines the outputs we want to see after the deployment. But in this video today, we're not going to be working with the output file. The provider.tf file in this configuration is used to specify and configure the provider that Terraform will use to manage resources. The backend file is used to define the backend configuration for storing the Terraform state file remotely. And lastly, the .git ignore file is used to specify files and directories that should be ignored by Git and not tracked in the version control. Now let's run Terraform locally to test our configuration. First, let's run Terraform init to initialize the working directory. So apparently what happens here is that the providers are actually getting, downloaded on our local machine. The providers which we're going to be using to deploy the resources, directly from Azure, are getting downloaded. This is based on what is specified in the providers.tf file. So now we have successfully initialized, and let's run the next command, terraform validates. Okay, our configuration is valid. Let's run our next command, terraform plan. Let's just give it a few seconds to gather all of them configurations. All right, that was successful. So as we can see here, this is the configuration which will be applied on Azure. So now finally, let's run the Terraform apply. All right, so as we can see here, it says creation complete, Azure resource group creation completed successfully. So now let's wait for the other resource, which is a storage account, to get deployed successfully. I think this should take another few seconds or a minute or two. So let's just wait. So guys, from the logs here, we can see that both resources are now successfully deployed. Let's head over to Azure DevOps to confirm if they are now appearing in Azure portal. So guys, now I'm on Azure portal. Let's click on resource groups, and then let's find the resource here, which we just created. Let's go back to our Terraform to confirm the name which we declared for the resource group. Okay, so our resource group is Azure Pipeline RG. Let's copy that. Let's go back to here. Let's paste that here. Okay, so guys, we can see our resource group actually exists. And as we can see here, guys, if we're looking into the main.tf file, we can see that there are two resources deployed. We have the storage account deployed inside the resource group, the Azure Pipeline RG resource group. So this is exactly what we have here. So our pipeline was actually our Terraform actually got deployed successfully, and our resources got deployed, created successfully. So now I'm going to be deleting the resource group so we can demo the other section of this video. Just give me a second. So now that we have our Terraform code tested and confirmed to be working and ready, we're going to be pushing this entire code into Azure DevOps repo. So let's head over to our Azure DevOps. Let's give it Azure Terraform. And then let's click create. So when we create a new project from scratch, it automatically creates a repo for us. So let's head over to repos. Now our repo is actually named based off of the project name, Azure Terraform. So we're going to be pushing our entire code into this repo, into this Azure Terraform repo. So let's head back to our code on VS Code. Okay, so let's git init. Okay, so guys, now we're going to be running the push command to push the entire code into this repo. So we actually have different sections here where like different methods where we could push our code into the repo. The first one here is the clone command, which isn't what we're going to be using right now because we have the code on our local and then we want to push it directly into the repo, not the other way around. So this is what we're going to be using here. I'm going to copy this and paste it in this terminal here. So let's refresh now. Okay, so guys, as you can see here now, we have our code. We have our entire Terraform code in our pipeline, in our Azure DevOps repo. So the next thing we're going to do now is create a storage account and a container so we can store our Terraform state file. So let's head back to Azure portal. Let's go to storage accounts. So we already have a storage account here. So let's click that. Or you know what? Let's create an entirely new storage account. Okay, this is accepted. So this is what we're going to be using. And then I don't think there's any further configurations to make here. So let's just hit next, next, review configuration. Okay, I think we're all good here. So we can hit the create button to proceed with the deployment. Now our deployment is successful. Let's click the go to resource button to review our storage account. So we're going to be creating a new container where we're going to be having the state file hosted. So for this, let's name it TF container. Let's create. And then that would be it. So right now, our container is empty. But by the time we're done running the Terraform pipeline, we would automatically have our state file generated here. So let's head back to Azure DevOps repo. So like I earlier said, this is our configuration. This is our .gitignore file. This is our backend. And this is our main file. This is our output provider variables, right? So since we're going to be storing, like in the previous demo, right, we had our state file, hosted on our local machine, right, which is entirely a really poor practice, right? For the best practice, it is ideal that we store our state file remotely, which is the reason why we have actually created this storage account and container here, right? So since we're going to be using our remote state here, we just need to enable this section of this file here. All right, let's save that and then commit. Okay, this is saved successfully. All right, cool. Now guys, let's create our pipeline. So let's head over to our pipeline on the left, hover here to bring out all of the menus, and then let's click on pipelines. So now we do not have any pipeline here. So we're going to be creating our first pipeline in this project. Let's select Azure repos, Azure Terraform. So we're going to be, since we do not have any existing pipeline, right, we're going to be clicking this first button here to write our pipeline from scratch. So this is the startup pipeline, which we are going to be taking out completely. So we could write our own pipeline from scratch. So the first thing we're going to be having is the trigger, and then let's give it none. And then the next thing here is going to be the variables. I'm just going to copy that and then paste it here. So this is the variable which we're going to be using. We have the storage account resource group here, which is called Terraform. We saw that previously. We have the storage account name, which is TF backend STG001. We have the container, which is TF container, and this is the key. So guys, another thing we should understand here is that key here doesn't necessarily mean the key, like the key value in the storage account. This is literally the name of our state file, which is going to be stored within this container. So let's always take note of that. And then lastly, we have our service connection, which I previously created. I mean, for us to create a service connection, we just have to do this. Let me show us real quick. We go on to the project settings and then scroll to the bottom, and then we see service connection. Create a service connection. Oh, okay. I actually thought I had already created a service connection. So we're going to be creating a service connection from scratch. So here we're going to be choosing Azure Resource Manager next. And then let's see. Okay, so we're just going to go with the recommended one. And then service connection is going to be, what do we have for our service connection? I think we have our service connection name as this. Let's see. DevOps with dummy -sc. And then what else do we need to configure here? Let's click that to grant access permission to all pipelines. So I think that's pretty much everything we need to configure here. All right, so let's save that. All right, so guys, we have our service connection created here. Let's check that again one more time. Okay, all right, that's good. Let's head back to our pipeline. So we have our service connection just created a few seconds ago. Then the next thing we're going to be specifying here in this pipeline is our stage. So for this pipeline, right, we're going to be focusing on a single stage, right? So like in stages, right, we can define multiple stages in this pipeline. We can define the stages. Like right now we're defining the dev environment, right? So if we have other environment like the production environment, test environment, all we just need to do is create multiple stages. Here we have just a single stage. We can declare another stage here for prod, declare another stage for for maybe test or UAT environment. But for the scope of this video, we're going to be focusing on just a single stage, which is dev. So right here, we have our steps. This is the point where we're now going to be specifying the task to deploy, the task for our Terraform, which then deploys the Terraform configuration. So let's hit enter here. So this is where we're going to be selecting our, task to fill up the steps. So here we're going to type Terraform. So guys, for some of us who don't have Terraform here, right? So Terraform extension is actually currently installed on my Azure DevOps, right? So if you can't find Terraform here under this task assistant here, all you just need to do is go back to, let me use this tab. So you go back to your organization settings, extension, and then you click on browse marketplace. So it opens a browser and takes you to the extension marketplace. So you type Terraform and hit enter. So you see a bunch of Terraform, you see a bunch of Terraform extensions, actually, created by different providers. So we are particularly using the one created by Microsoft. So you can see Microsoft.com here, and you can also see that it is verified here. So this is the one we're going to be using. I'm going to click that, get it for free. But I wouldn't be proceeding with this because, as we can see here, it says this extension is already installed on this organization. So that's because I already have it installed, as we previously saw. So I'll head back to our pipeline and continue to, write our configuration. So I'm going to hit the Terraform installer here, click on add. So this part is just going to install Terraform on the hosted agent, which is being which the pipeline is actually running on. And then the next one is going to be Terraform init. Terraform init. And then here we're going to be specifying, the backend parameters like the resource group, the storage account containers, and the key. So here we're just going to be using the variable values. So just give me a second. I have this written somewhere, so I'm just going to copy it out. Give me a second, guys. So the resource group is going to be this. This is going to be storage account name. The container would be okay. I think we're good. So let's click add. But then let's always ensure that our cursor is actually at the first line here. So let's hit add. Now for the next one, let's run validate. And then the next one, let's run our plan. So let's specify our service connection here. And then the next one, let's run our apply. Okay, you know what, guys? Let's for the connection strings, give me a second, guys. All right, so for the connection string, right, I think I like us to also variabilize it. So let's use this. All right, let's copy that and apply it across. Okay, so we're done, writing all of the steps or all of the necessary steps to deploy the Terraform. So now, guys, we can see here we actually have this red line showing, which means that we're having some configuration errors or some indent errors. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna highlight everything and then move it to the right the first time, move it to the right the second time. So now we can actually see that it is right under the steps section here. So one more thing we need to do is, specify the display name. So this is our init. We're just going to copy that. The next one is validate. The next one is plan. And then the last one is apply. So guys, I think our Terraform is good now. So let's see if we can save it and run the pipeline. So our pipeline is initializing now. Okay, initialized successfully, validated successfully, the configuration is valid. Now let's see what we got for plan. So I'm actually not sure why our plan has failed. It says error acquiring state log. That actually shouldn't be happening. So let's see. State blob is already logged. Path tf container tf. Oh, so guys, I think I see where the issue is, right? So we must have made a mistake in the pipeline. So it's saying that our container is tf container as expected, and then it's saying the key is tf container. So this is actually wrong. So let's go back to the pipeline to see where we made a mistake so we can correct it. Okay, we have our key here which says this. Particularly, we are concerned about this tf.tf states, right? So let's copy key. Let's see where it is being referenced. So guys, as you can see here, backend Azure RM key ideally should be this. So let's save that. Okay, let's go back here and let's just delete this. Let's see. Okay, you know what? We don't even have to delete it. Let's just go back to our pipeline and let's run our pipeline. Okay, the pipeline job started. Okay, Terraform installed successfully. Terraform initialized. Validates also was successful. Configuration is valid. Let's see our plan. I see that the Terraform plan is actually also taking time. So when this happens, most times it is expecting some type of interaction. So let's go back to our pipeline. Let's see what is missing or where something is wrong. Okay, particularly this is happening in the plan section of the pipeline. So let's edit that configuration. So let's just add additional arguments. Okay, let's see. Let's save that. Let's hit run. So let's cancel the first run so we can rerun the second time. Error acquiring state log. So let's head back to Azure portal. Let's refresh that. So guys, we actually just broke these. So let's go back and rerun the pipeline. Let's see if it's gonna work this time. So let's see what is wrong here. Let's see what is wrong here. Let's see what is wrong here. Let's go back to our pipeline repo. Let's check. Okay, everything is okay here. Let's check here. Everything is okay. Well, guys, if we notice here, we do not have our TF vars being pushed to our repo. So let's see what is wrong. So as you can see here, our TF vars is actually not being pushed to the repo. So for the purpose of this course, this video, I'm going to be excluding this in this file. Let's commit that. And then let's create a new file here. I'll just come here, TF vars. Okay, so we have our pipeline here, which we just pulled. So for our TF vars now, so what we're going to be doing is, okay, all right, so guys, we just pushed our TF file. So ideally, we shouldn't be having our TF file in our Azure DevOps repos, because this is literally what has the values of our configuration of our infrastructure. So in the coming video, I'm going to be showing us ways which we can actually handle this. We can save these values in key vaults and then call the key vault in the pipeline. And then other ways is also to use replacement tokens, where we're going to be having some symbols here, and then we're going to be saving the values in Azure DevOps pipeline library. So for the scope of this video, we're going to be pushing this, which I just did, into the repo. So let's head back to the repo. Okay, let's see. Let's refresh that. Okay, so guys, as you can see, we now have our TF vars file here with our values here. So let's go back to the pipeline and rerun the pipeline. Okay, so now guys, our plan actually worked. As you can see, these are plan configuration. It says 2 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. So let's wait for our apply to complete. As you can see, it started applying. So let's give it some time to complete the deployment. So I'm just going to pause this video in the meantime and then come back to us once it's complete, it's completely deployed. And that's it, guys. We have covered how to deploy infrastructure as code using Terraform and Azure DevOps pipeline. So we started with a simple Terraform configuration. We run it locally. We push the code to the repo, set up a remote backend for the Terraform, and automated the deployment using Azure DevOps pipeline. So guys, if you found this video helpful, insightful, please give it a thumbs up, share with anyone who might be benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and then, so we can get, more DevOps tutorials like this one. Thank you.